I'm recording now. So just so I know, these are the notes I have from yesterday about who has participated in the question and answer. I have Leo, Nico, Kareem, Turgut, Jerry, and Abdullah have participated, asked questions. So that means most of you haven't. So you got some questions? Let's ask them. I'll just open it up. Let's start with this side. Go ahead.
So some of you said like that we shouldn't give aid to other countries, but we should help them with microfinance. But that's our point, and you're saying that we shouldn't give aid. So
do you want to respond to that? Can I respond? Sure. Well, let's give someone who hasn't had a chance to talk. You want to respond?
Isabella.
Who mentioned microfinance on this team yesterday? Who was it? Do you remember?
Turgut.
Turgut, you mentioned microfinance. Can you respond to that? If you're supporting aid.
So like we're giving aid to the government, right? So the government can take the place of microfinance institution. Like instead of giving money to the microfinance institution, we can give that money to the government, and then they can do the same thing. It's not going to change anything.
Okay, so here goes my question.
Okay.
Yeah, how can you know exactly like where the money that you give to government will go? You.
Anybody want to try that one? Besides Cody? Okay, can you go ahead?
So, when most organizations that gather donations to give to the government are run by certain people, those are the people that need to make sure that the country is distributing the money properly to the people. For example, like Jordan's prime minister is in charge of all of the donations to give to the people. And the people, if they see that there is a change, that there is the poverty rate going up instead of down, and they see that the country isn't working, that it shows that the prime minister is corrupt, where they can investigate him. So for most countries and places, like there's always one main person in charge who has a team under him that works for him and makes sure that the money gets distributed to the people equally.
So you need good governance. So go ahead, Bill, you have first.
What's the difference between what's stopping the people that are working under the prime minister from taking half of the benefits for themselves and not reporting it?
The people of the country themselves.
What power do the people hold?
They can have riots, they can have protests.
Yeah, but the government holds more power than the people.
No, because, well, depending on where you're talking about, because, for example, in Jordan, it's a tribal country, and which means the government's not allowed to get involved with any tribes. And if the prime minister is from a certain tribe, and he does this, and all other tribes around have the right to go against him.
But doesn't the government have access to military and police?
But the military and police are made up of these people, and if these people aren't getting their money, why would they support the prime minister and the people under him? If they're not getting what they're supposed to get from the donations, why would they help?
What's stopping the government from, for example, paying the police chiefs and military generals from?
There's too many of them. If you pay off all of the chiefs, all of the...
But doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pay them large sums of money from that, whatever, $1 billion was donated.
From what you get?
Yeah.
Well, there's always the people who will riot and cause this, and then the UN and other world organizations can get into contact with
but that's Jordan.
Interfere.
But that's in the example for Jordan. There are many other countries that.
For example, but let's say Kenya. Take Kenya as an example.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not receiving their donations and stuff from the other country, then they have the right to go to the government and protest. And if they all come as one, which they most likely would, if they don't receive their donations, then they'll overthrow the government easily. Because there's too many, even though the government government can pay off the general or the commander or something, the commander is going to command another 100 people, but those 100 people aren't getting what they want, so they're not going to follow him anymore. They're going to go with the movement and along with the protest.
And if the government does that, it will spread a really bad reputation around the world.
Of course, and also
In social media.
not only that, allied countries, any country that's allies with this, any countries that has relations with this particular country that's being corrupt can go against them, which means that they're gone. Like if all of the allied countries.
But
are
for
against
example, Kenya is surrounded by other countries similar to itself in the way it runs things. Like other countries around Kenya also take parts of the donation money and use it for themselves, the politicians that run these countries. And they have means of stopping rebellion, not only that is police, they have media under their control, they can publish whatever they want, they can say whatever they want.
What we see is not what actually would happen in Kenya just so long as any other country. Like they might
No, same here. We were not talking solely about Jordan or Kenya. We're talking about the world as a whole. Yes.
As in, I'm just giving you like an example.
Yeah.
Kenya or wherever you want. Anywhere around the world, like other than exclude probably the US and the UK or the superpower countries, China and Russia and those, most things that happen in the country you won't see on the media. Like for example, when I visited Kenya to do like community service work itself, there was a strike and a protest. And not one thing was on the news on any like CNN, BBC, New York Times, none of these news platforms had that. Literally no one.
Because the government doesn't want
Of course,
it to go on.
Can I cut you guys off just so someone else asks a question? Thank you. I think, Jerry, did you have something?
No.
Okay, Pablo?
So most of the aid money are coming from the taxes. So most taxpayers are paying taxes to improve the conditions in their country, not others. So what do you think? Is it fair to the point of taxpayers to send that money to other countries, not to yours?
Good question. Could someone else who hasn't answered maybe respond?
Saberla.
Go ahead, Isabel. How can you respond to that? How, if aid is given from taxpayers or wealthy countries, how can you explain to the taxpayers that their money is being wasted? If it is. It's part of your day, guys, to respond.
Si no hablas, te baja
Nobody can
calificación.
respond to that? Someone besides Kareem?
Y
Okay, well,
That was development.
We also send aid to we still have one problem not one we should send to other countries, but not to solve the problem from help them.
okay, we'll stop with that question. How about this side? Do you have some questions? Thanks, Isabel. Isabel, okay.
How do you expect for countries to help their people without any donations and technology? For example, we are not having maybe not do
Good question. And like the financial resolve,
Bucket.
Maybe someone else can do that? Okay,
Can't like solve everything, but it can help. It's like better than nothing. Still helps.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back to another question. Someone who hasn't asked a question, please. Anybody from either side? any?
So how can you make sure that the leader takes the whole area of money?
Can you repeat it?
How can you make sure that the leaders of one country take the whole money, the whole aid? How can you make sure it will happen?
Okay, one more time, Manny.
How can you make sure that the leaders of one country will take the whole aid, the whole money?
How will the leaders take all the aid?
How can you make sure?
This question to you.
Yeah, what do you mean with that question? Like, you are.
You're
No,
We're not
you
giving
say
it.
that the leaders will take the money, and so how can you make sure? Maybe they don't.
Because it doesn't reflect in the society.
The graph shows like doesn't help. They didn't do better. So
There was a big amount, and nothing changed in the country. So, like, where's the money? Where is it? Like, nothing
How can you
changed.
be so sure that there was a big amount of
Because
money and there's
nothing
no
changed. So they're still poor.
Someone give an example. Does someone have an example of specific?
2000.
Yeah,
Is
we
there
have
any
in
example?
Indonesia there was an amount donated in 2018 of $135 billion. 1% of that amount was statistically proven to go to the poor and help. The 99% vanished
Into bank account.
into bank accounts.
Okay, they mentioned that yesterday, though, but you weren't here, so. Okay, another question?
Okay, statistics show that Look at you, look.
Let him ask the question. Go ahead, go. Anybody else?
Statistics show that foreign aid is helpful to all the countries that received it. Why won't you help them?
Anybody else? Okay, brother.
It isn't fully statistically proven. The statistics show that the opposite, that the countries that received these large sums of money, like especially poor and developing countries, they have a less, percentage of
Well, it
using the
definitely
money.
depends on countries. Because different statistics are different.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, but it depends on who writes these statistics.
Yeah, exactly. Because some statistics show that there is no improvement, and then there are other statistics that show that there is actually economic improvement. It might not be as big as some people expect it to be, but it's still an improvement. So,
Okay, we should move on to the speeches, I think. Should we pick up we missed a few yesterday, Maya. Do you want to go to person 3 for a minute?
yeah.
Okay, you can go to the podium in the front. And then I believe that they'll go next.
Okay, there are some children who don't get educated because of the poverty. For example, Kenya is like one of the impoverished countries. Their economy is low middle income, and this severe poverty is inequality, government corruption, and health problems. There are one girl who lives in like small village in Kenya, and in her village, there's no clean water, so she have to get like 50 pounds of water every day, and it takes like 4 to 6 hours each day, and it is like it happens in around the world, and if we give aid to poverty, it can bring like clean water by setting the pipe from river to village. Then they don't need to get water every day, and then they can go to school, and they can have like better life than now. So it can change people's life and helping ease the African poverty. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Maya. Go.
You really have to do that. Can I just tell it to you? Not in front.
You've already been doing a good job speaking, asking questions, so give it a go.
So aid can have an amazing impact on developing countries, and even $1 can save someone's life. The World Bank estimates that about 30 million of people to 60 million of people will fall into extreme poverty due to COVID-19, which means that these people will live on one.
You can take off your mask, by the way, I forgot to say that, sorry. If it helps, you can take off your mask if you want.
So it means that these people will live on $1.90 a day, which is due to COVID-19, and depending on the assumption on magnitude of the economical shock. And because of that, between today and tomorrow, about 48,000 of children will die from starvation, and every single week, about 250,000 of children die because of preventable deaths like malnutrition and illnesses. For example, diarrhea disease, which claims lives of 16,000 of children every single day, and can be treated by simple antibiotics that cost under $1. And the aid that is needed to prevent all of these deaths of children in the next decade is the same amount of money that U.S. government is spending on marketing for cigarettes. And in addition, studies showed that there was an actual improvement and an economical improvement. For example, studies showed that there's also improvement in social parts, like education.
Thanks, Adele. I think we'll move right along to our concluding arguments. So questions 7 and 8 from each team. So that will be, we'll start with Noel on this side.
Do I start? I'm ready.
Sure, whenever you're ready.
Stop giving traditional aid, which entails giving endless amounts of supply of money to corrupt leaders. This money donated just finances the leaders' luxury lifestyle. Additionally, it doesn't help the people who actually need it. And over time, the local economy actually got worse, despite the fact that trillions of dollars already have been donated to African countries. A proposed solution is microfinancing. With the help of organizations like Kiva, we're able to study local economies and cultures and loan money to the people who are both in need, loan money to the people who have ideas and both need money. And this would provide governments with local tax income, and this would provide governments with local tax income, and this would provide governments with local tax income, which would then be hopefully back invested into the local economies.
Thanks, Noel. Let's go back to the other team. For person 7, I believe it's my notes here.
It's not sure.
Nacho.
Versus
Turkic, sorry. Yes, Turkic, and then Nacho. After.
To sum up, giving aid is the right and the ethical thing to do to the developed countries, and it can actually work, as we saw in the example with the Marshall Plan after World War II. America gave some money to the European countries to the aid that is given will have the power of saving a great number of lives. And as we can see from the data, loads of humans are suffering and dying because of the poverty, and something must be done about it. Giving aid will be the most effective thing to do to prevent people losing their lives and to alleviate poverty. So,
Alright, should we go into closing arguments? First and eight, who is Artem, I believe?
Chiku. Okay, so depending on our opinion, our team's opinion, that all aids that you're giving to poor countries, government of poor countries, like corrupted officials, take most of that money. Yeah, you're not helping poor people there. Moreover, you're making it more difficult to live in your own country for those people, because this money is coming from taxes that people pay. So that money should go to for benefits of these countries, but it's going to corrupted officials in other countries. So yes. So what I want to say is there are also more effective ways to avoid poverty, like private companies or these companies that can help poverty. Because there are lots of times. So
Okay, thanks, Artem. And then Nacho. If you want to, you can take off your mask if you think it helps.
That's okay. So I think we should donate money because no, stop. I think we should donate money to the poor people because they have numerous of families and members in the family. So I think it's a good idea to donate money to them. And I think maybe maybe the people in Africa, they don't donate that much money to their people who are poor, maybe because their religion are maybe different and they don't see it useless to donate money and help the others in their country. And I think the solution for that is maybe I don't know, make because you don't know if you really loan money to the country, you don't know if it goes to actually to help the poverty, or it goes to the government to keep for themselves. And I think it's
We'll open it back up for questions and answers. We still have 10 minutes. But I would like to give people a chance who haven't asked any questions, like Noel, or Maya, or Nacho, or Nico. You guys want to start? Anybody? Part of the
ask questions?
Yeah. So if we don't have a question, I'll give you a minute to think. Anybody? Any other people want to start? Before?
Can I ask a question to Nacho?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Nacho, do you think if the governments of countries steal aid, like international aid, there should be sanctions put on that country to punish them for, punish the government officials for stealing? Or should there be any international intervention into that country?
I think in some countries maybe there is a lot of the word was exploit, right? Yeah, there's a lot of exploit, so you cannot say anything and you don't know if the the money that the loan will wait for them or wait for the government, so they will keep for themselves. They don't know.
I mean, they can make reports to show how that money went to help the poor people and without.
They can make a fake news saying.
But then you can see from the quality of life of the person if that country is not improving, and then you see this much money has gone into it. You can.
Exactly. If the country doesn't work, then the money they're not using for the people, they're not helping the citizens in the country, so they're stealing money for them, the money of the country to keep it for them, so you don't know if it's actually using it well.
But you can know. You just look if the life of the people are improving, and then you see if like the money went where they said it went.
Okay, but how you will know?
Because I mean, when like you can see the improvements have been made with that money, but if you can't see those improvements, then you know it's like gone to official.
But they might give like, I don't know, if you loan like 4 million, you will give them like less than a million to them, and then the rest they keep it for themselves. You don't know.
Okay, thanks guys. Somebody else? Anybody else? If there's people? Okay, Adele?
I have a question for Adele. You said the United States government spends the same amount, something, on cigarette advertising. Do you think the US government and private business entities are one and the same?
Is that a fair comparison? Should what is spent on advertising for a particular product is the same as the amount of aid? Does anyone know how much aid is recommended by the United Nations to be given to developing countries? The UN recommends 0.7% of your GDP. 0.7%.
But my question is that the US is a free market economy, and
Sure.
the private business has no say if it's going to give its income to developing nations.
What do you think about that, Adele?
It's really hard to answer the question because I kind of agree. So.
But I guess my understanding is that it's not that you're saying that cigarette companies should spend money on aid, but that the U.S. government presumably has more money than a cigarette company,
yes,
and therefore could spend it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, what I meant by the comparison is that, for example, like U.S. government, they have much more money, and like
The U.S. GDP is about $15 trillion a year, right? That's the gross domestic product of the United States economy. 15 trillion. That's a lot of money.
it's what you
15 trillion. Not million, not billion, but
Yeah,
trillion. 15 trillion, that's the GDP of the US. So the US economy, there's a lot of money there, and the amount of money spent on cigarettes, I don't know, maybe it's 100 million? I don't know. Should the US spend more on aid?
But most of the aid the U.S. gives is on military, which actually benefits them also because they use the resources that they collect from the taxes to support militaries that actually work for them later on. So if U.S. have so much money that they spend so much money on like marketing for cigarettes, why don't they spend this money, like this amount of money on
The US doesn't spend money on advertising for cigarettes.
Okay. Anybody else? Julian.
Question for the whole team.
Okay.
Pretend your country is gutted by, well, hopefully, obviously, this never happens, but pretend one of your countries gets hit by a bomb or something severe, and you need help at that moment, but you don't have money or you don't have any sort of aid. Would you not want other countries to come and help you?
Yeah.
Sorry, someone speaking here?
No,
No, go ahead.
Wait, so you said that like if a country gets like destroyed or something.
Take Lebanon as an example. They don't have money. They got hit with a nuclear bomb, and they have no money to reconstruct all of Lebanon. Till now, people are still eating dead dogs on the street. Like, imagine your country was poor and gets hit by a bomb like that, and you guys need financial aid at that moment. But you guys wouldn't want that from any other country, how do you expect to get it? Microfinancing is not going to work.
Yeah, but that's like something that's so different. It's like
That's still
it's
giving aid.
like totally destroyed.
Yeah, because imagine your country is the one that was hit, and you guys need the financial aid and support. You wouldn't, like, you don't support the idea of getting money from other countries, or do you?
Can you explain it well? How's that different?
It's because like the whole country, it's like destroyed. Like then, like you would give it, but like if it's like developing countries, they're like just like poor and don't have money. Like the people are like just don't like can't get food or anything. Then like I don't know, it's like so different. And then like the governments would probably like get a new hit if like the government's even still alive. Like I think they would like put like aid to like build up the country again to have like a sustainable like living environment. But for like developing countries, like they're like doing okay, but like not with like food and supplies and stuff. Like microfinancing is just like the right thing to do. Because donating, it's like you don't have like an overview of like where the money's going. Like it just goes to corrupt governments. Like if you guys could choose like donating or doing microfinancing, like what do you think is a better way?
Both ways, microfinancing and not donating, you're getting all of your money back.
Yeah,
Donation means that you have a part of your money that you want to give to help other people.
Yeah, but that money you don't have an overview. It goes to the government.
No, but not necessarily. Yeah, you can give it to the government. The government can send you a report, or they can share videos, photos, all evidence to show that they're putting your money into good use.
Okay, why?
And in addition, like aid that will be given to the government will help the country in general. Like microfinance will only help like a small group of individuals.
Okay, so why did poverty get worse over the years, even though trillions of dollars have been donated?
Where?
To Africa, it's just it says like everywhere that just got worse. Poverty got worse.
That's corruption. That's separate. So a solution could be to get someone to supervise the money that's being drawn into this country. And for every country, supervisor from, like, let's say the UN appoints a supervisor for every single country.
But then why wouldn't that already happen? Like if it's that simple, why doesn't it already happen?
Because it's not that simple. It's like microfinancing.
Yeah, but then why would you say microfinancing wouldn't be like as good?
Because you're helping a small group of individuals. You're not going to help everyone.
But like,
most people don't have
but it will
access
like,
to the internet to get onto this market.
but it will like spread. Like for example, like a guy wants to like build up a store, and that store can like have employees, and then when they employ, like it's just like it gets better.
It's a chain, it's a business. But that's one business. You're helping maximum from that one store that you're helping someone pay $2,000 in total. By that, it's probably going to have 10 employees max. You're helping 11 people in total. When you're giving like aid to a country and to a government, and let them distribute it, you help many more people than you would by microfinance.
But people can start getting into microfinance.
But how? For example, take you're talking about Africa all the time. Take a village in Africa where they don't even have electricity.
Yeah, they don't have they don't have electricity, but it starts somewhere. And then, like, as it slowly builds up, people will have electricity because people will invest in, like, a business, like, I don't know.
But how will you find out about that village and those people?
Because it will spread, people will start talking about it. And then they have electricity, they will start, like, affording, like, I don't know, electronic devices. And you'll be like, oh shit, like,
if it's not easy, why didn't they do it already?
Good questions, guys. Give yourself a round of applause. These are difficult questions because it's not a clear answer. I used to live in Boston where I went to university, and I always used to see this guy, this homeless guy on the streets. I think his name was Dave, and he had a cardboard. He had like a fake cardboard guitar. He cut it out of paper, and he would play his fake guitar and have his hat out for money. And I used to give him money. And then one of my friends, you know, so he could whatever buy some food or buy a beer, buy drugs, I don't know, whatever he wanted to buy, because he had less than I did. And one of my friends said, "Why do you give that guy money?" And I said, "I don't know. He's poor. He's homeless. He's probably like an alcoholic." And he's like, "But you're just encouraging his bad habits, you know." He's like, if you don't give him money, he'll go to the homeless shelter and they'll give him a hot meal, and maybe they'll give him a bed for the night. But if you give him money, if you give him $5, he's just going to go into that shop right there and buy some beer and just sleep on the street. I don't know what the answer is. It's not an easy thing. But, you know, there's 20,000 kids a day who die from poverty-related diseases. That's a bad number. We should try to get rid of. We should try to do something. Whether it's microfinance, whether it's aid, whether it's fair trade, whether it's medical work. Hopefully we can find a solution to this. Thank you for your debate. Don't forget your debate reflection. Can you clean your tables before you go and push in your chairs?
Mister, when are you gonna give us the grades of the